We have been seeing massive updates with stablecoins over the past few weeks, and because this is actually causing one of the biggest shifts in financial history, I believe that this is beginning to become, a much bigger concern than what many people are actually letting on. And we need to deal with this, particularly with regard to XRP, because I do believe that this will result in the US formally adopting RLUSD and using all three of them, Ripple, RLUSD, and XRP, to not only save the US dollar, but also to maintain it as a reserve currency. We have a lot to discuss, so take a seat back and unwind. Greetings from the Peepo Coin channel, everyone. If you're new to the channel, you will become a subscriber by the end of this video. Let's get started and discuss some of the most recent developments. I've already talked about Russia. They flipped on stablecoins back on the 16th, The Russian Finance Ministry urges the development of a reliable cryptocurrency. This was significant because, once more, it demonstrated that stablecoins are just becoming more and more popular, and everything is accelerated by many of these major announcements, such as this one from Russia. If you had a specific date in mind for when stablecoin laws will be completely implemented, guess what? This simply sped up by a month or two. By the end of the summer, I believe we will have stablecoin law that is fully operational. From that point on, stablecoins will not only experience a significant increase in the quantity of money on the chain, but major banks and institutional players will also expedite their adoption cycle. But let's visit this place as well. Due to the fact that Dutch lender ING wants to introduce a euro stable currency within the EU's MECA framework. Once more, we are beginning to observe that several of these countries are beginning to implement stablecoin projects. The EU, Russia, and other institutional giants like Abu Dhabi collaborate on Dirham stablecoin. This occurred on the 29th. This one was significant. Additionally, they are trying to launch a stablecoin that is regulated by the central bank. This is significant. Additionally, the UK just exempted foreign stablecoin issuers from its crypto regulations, but I don't have any money to pay for this article. I'll get to this one in a moment, but I also need to talk about MasterCard, because they recently revealed their end-to-end stable currency capabilities. It will also launch the card using OKX. The goal of this new worldwide system is to make stablecoin transactions as easy as those involving conventional payments. This simply indicates that the stablecoin adoption cycle is getting hotter by the day. Let's now discuss why the UK would wish to exempt foreign stablecoin issuers from its cryptocurrency regulations. That's precisely what I believe the United States will do. In fact, I believe that the United States will exempt all stablecoins from use within its borders. Well, Nick, how can they do this? One could ask. They could do this for anything outside of DeFi, so pay attention. However, they are unable to halt that in terms of DeFi. However, the reason I say this is because Chad Stangry really posted about this upgrade, which was released at the beginning of April. We have protected the US dollar and brought stablecoins onshore. For the US, RLUSD to the XRP ledger becomes essential infrastructure. In fact, I do believe it will be. In order to address these significant risks, we implore Congress to include the following common-sense guidelines in digital asset legislation. The first is onshoring stablecoins to safeguard the Treasury market and the US dollar. Pay attention to that. This is the important one. The second is mandating that platforms only deal with platforms that comply with anti-money laundering regulations. Third, requiring issuers and intermediaries to register in order to guarantee public accountability, transparency, confidentiality, and fundamental protections. The fourth is avoiding conflicts of interest. The fifth is encouraging price transparency. The sixth requirement is that platforms and middlemen aggressively detect and stop fraud and frauds. Last but not least, digital assets cannot be included in retirement funds. We briefly discussed this when it was previously stated, but the Treasuries market is the single most significant factor. What makes that significant? Well, this was just posted by ITM Trading somewhere in mid-April. If China dumps U.S. Treasuries, what would happen? Isn't this still a major worry? It remains a significant worry because, yes, they do have a lot of influence over U.S. Treasuries, and they might threaten us with tariffs, for instance. We are aware that China has been playing the tariff game and has not liked it. However, a closer inspection reveals that China could simply dump treasuries. What is the solution to this, then? We will discuss that topic in a moment, but before, watch this ITM Trading video clip. I think this was also put on their YouTube account. Have a look. Could you imagine China saying, "All right, US, we're going to dump our US dollars in our treasuries"? Then what? Who gives a damn? Who are they going to dump their treasuries on, really? They will sell it to someone. We will not purchase them. They want to know if Russia will purchase them. Japan's? Those treasuries must be purchased by someone in the globe. The astronomical benefit of holding the world's reserve currency is this, and that's the one thing that I believe Trump is endangering, among other things. Getting things from the rest of the world is an outrageous privilege that we enjoy. Whatever they sell, chips, chip shirts, Nike sneakers, they steal our money. Trump claims that we don't export anything. You know. Indeed we do. Export money. Additionally, we export more now than ever before. They must do something with the funds they receive from our exports, even while we are manufacturing more than ever before. They usually wound up at a central bank, which then proceeded to purchase treasuries. However, it frequently finds its way into people's hands. Let's pretend we'd like to purchase your stocks. The fact that 19% of our initial market was owned by foreigners at the start of this year was one of the contributing factors. Do you believe they aren't taking their money? They're losing confidence, which is one of the reasons we're having the crash. They don't know exactly what will occur, and as an investor, you may pull back, halt, or even move if you're faced with uncertainty. Other locations appear to be less ambiguous. Furthermore, I'm not concerned about China claiming that we would defraud whom of your funds. All right, now, allow me to ask you a question. Could they just forget about the money? We'll sell it for gold then. They might, however, turn it into gold, yes. Additionally, China is purchasing gold, but who will sell it to them? Those funds still need to be spent. They still need to purchase. Let's imagine they travel to Switzerland or London and purchase gold. There is an issue with those dollars in Switzerland and London. No one is selling gold here, so they won't be returning to the United States. Therefore, when we consider the situation at hand, do we, face danger from China? Many of these people want to declare, oh yeah, we're not at all at risk. Furthermore, it doesn't matter if China dumps U.S. treasuries. It is a major worry, in my opinion. This is something that should worry us, in my opinion. Additionally, I believe that the United States is even worried about this. Stable currencies are the means by which they want to combat this. Why? How? We have over here, then. Actually, this is from Uphold. It was posted by Uphold CEO, and Uphold later quoted it. By 2030, simple coin issuers may have more debt than the US, Japan, or even China. The future of money is becoming more and more real, with decentralized finance and centralized collateral. And by 2030, simple coin issuers may own more than 1.2 trillion US treasuries, surpassing the current greatest sovereign holder, and creating a new government debt concentration. And yes, this is crazy because, as you may know, we currently have about 120 billion. That would be a 10-fold increase in just 5 years, That seems very possible to me. Actually, it may occur sooner rather than later. Furthermore, the steady coin growth and the faster acceptance of stablecoins are the reasons why this is both possible and likely to occur. I just revealed all of these headlines to you all. That's only a handful. Look up coins that are stable. I can assure you that there are 5 or 10 more pieces like that. We just discussed how stablecoins now make up 1% of the world's money supply, which is equally absurd. This keeps becoming bigger and bigger. Additionally, when more people, businesses, and even institutions use stablecoins, it speeds up even faster. The market